Hi everyone, I'm Tom. Today I'm going to be playing Lorenzo il Magnifico. I'm going to be playing a two-player game today, and that's why you can see these kind of strange little raised bits here. It's a really nice touch. They block off some spaces and things, but other than that, the gameplay is largely the same, apart from these blocked off action spaces. So, in this game, we play heads of families trying to be the most prestigious, really. We're going to be out there trying to get influential people, build buildings, conquer territories, and make ventures to ultimately be the most prestigious family in all of Florence. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we, please the church enough and keep the faith so that we don't get punished too much along the way. So this is my player board. These are my workers. I have 3 workers here that you can see have different coloured stickers on them, and these relate to the dice here. So these are going to be rolled by the first player at the start of every round, and they're going to determine the value of your workers. Everyone also has this neutral coloured worker, and that can come into play later, but they have a default value of 0. You can always spend servants, that's these purple figures here. You can always spend them when you're taking an action to increase the value by 1. So you're going to have to do that or have some other kind of power for the neutral guy, or you're just going to get 1 fewer action in a round. So I start off, because I'm the first player, I get 5 coins. I've got 2 wood, 2 stone, 3 servants, and I have this special little part of my board here. There is this side, that's the same for everybody, but you can flip it around and you have kind of this a similar configuration of things, but in different ways. I can get 2 servants and a money for doing some production, which is done over here on the main board, or I could get a wood, stone, and a military strength for doing the harvest. And these will be enhanced later by cards that I can get. Also, as part of the advanced game, the special little tabs there are part of the advanced game rather than the standard that everyone gets the same. We have leader cards, and I've already drafted these to kind of save time. Everyone gets dealt 4, and you draft them one at a time and pass your hand clockwise until everybody has 4 cards, and hopefully you'll have got some cards that kind of work together. I have taken a look at the punishments. Over here, we are going to get measured that every 2 rounds, the church is going to check our faith, basically. And if we haven't moved up enough on the faith track, or we just don't want to spend our points, we're going to get punished. And that's going to happen 3 times throughout the game, every 2 rounds, and there are 6 rounds in the game. Since I don't want these particular punishments, I thought that this would be a good card to have. This is whenever you please the church, when they check on you every 2 rounds, you get 5 extra points. So that's the main one I'm going to be going for. To be able to put out a leader card, you have a condition. It's not a cost, you don't have to spend anything, but I'm going to try and build up 6 money, 6 wood, 6 stone, and 6 workers. That's probably going to be my target for the early game. And I have some other things going, but some of them I just kind of got stuck with. So let's get started, and I'll explain the rest as we go. So to start the game, I need to perform an action with one of my workers. And it could be anyone, although with this guy, his value is 0. You see the spaces on the board all have these dice values underneath them. That shows you the minimum value you need your worker to be able to place there. And every space has at least a value of 1. So to be able to use this guy, I'm going to have to use servants. So I'll start off by rolling the dice, since they were just taken out of the bag. And so the black worker has value 3, white has 5, and orange has value 6. Okay, I am going to start out with my neutral worker here. I'm going to pay a servant, and I am going to place him in one of these towers. And placing in the tower means you're going to get the card that's next to it. So remember, we have territories, characters, buildings, and ventures. I am going to grab a territory. Now, there's no cost to grab a territory. There's nothing on this side, you see. But I only have 2 spaces for territories. If I want to keep getting more territories after this, I'm going to have a certain amount of military strength. So that's something I'm going to need to look out for. I need something that helps me with military along the way. For the time being, though, I have space for this. If we look at the card, it's got this kind of lightning bolt symbol here. This is an immediate thing. So as soon as I get the card, I get 3 money. The other part of the card relates to the harvest action that I could do later. I can come down here and do harvest. And I mentioned this earlier, that I will get the wood, stone, and military strength. But now also, if I put a worker there with value 6, then I can get a special council favour. And that symbol will come up at various times in the game. And you can see on the board here, a council favour is either a wood and a stone, or 2 servants, or 2 money, or 2 military strength, or 1 on the faith track. Now the reason I've sent my neutral worker here is the value is only 1, so I'm okay with that. But I'm thinking maybe I might send someone else to get another territory in this round. And there is a strict rule that in each tower you can only have 1 worker of your colour in there. Luckily, the neutral colour does not count as one of your colours of worker. Okay, so he's waited long enough. Let's go to Glass Marty, who's my opponent for this game. You see, he's got a slightly different tab here on the side of his player board, whereas mine gets me 2 servants and a money for doing the production. His gets him 2 military strength and a coin, and I get a wood, stone, and a military strength. He gets a wood, stone, and a servant. So just kind of mixing up the military strength and the servants for his action board. He starts off with 6 money because he's the second player, and he's got his own kind of thing, but his are more long-term in his leader cards. So he's got two cards here where the requirements are have 5 buildings out or 5 territories out. So I'm not sure which one he's going to go for, but this one here wants him to have 6 cards of the same colour, which is the maximum you can have for any colour of card. So I'm kind of thinking for him, whichever one he goes for, he can also add 1 more card to it and get this one later on. Now, since I've made an early play for territories, it makes them less attractive for Marty right now, because if you want to place in a tower that someone else has placed in, you need to also pay 3 coins to the bank. So in the meantime, at least, I think he's going to go for buildings. And he is going to kind of do the same thing I did and maybe try and grab 2 buildings since he needs so many. He's going to spend spend a servant with his neutral worker and place it in this space here. He needs to pay 2 stone to do that, which he started with. And he can grab this residence. Now he gets 1 point straight away, so he is in the lead right now. And this is going to give him an ability. Whenever he does production here, he has the chance now, and it happens with any worker because he only needs to send a value of 1 there, he has the chance to trade in a coin for one of those council favours we saw earlier. And that is his first of 6 buildings. So now it comes to me, and it would be nice to go in these empty towers because I wouldn't have to pay anything to go in there, because you have to spend 3 money, as I said, to go in a tower that's already occupied, whoever it's occupied by. But I see something that I want, and I'm going to grab it while I can. Now I'm going to send my orange worker here, who is value 6, and I am going to put him all the way up here on this space, which you see needs a value 7 worker, which you obviously can't get unless you have servants or maybe you have some powers from other cards. So I need to spend the servants so that the orange dice is now a 7. I also need to spend 3 money because this tower is occupied, even though it's me that's occupied it. And now my second territory is the monastery. So I can get, oh dear, I can get 2 military strength right now. So I'm on the board there. And I get a servant back. And this is when I spend a 6 to do a harvest. I can get a movement on the faith track and a stone, which is quite nice because I already need a high harvest value to get this favour here. Also, I almost forgot, for placing on here, I get 2 wood as well. So we come back to Marty, and he is going to send his black worker, so that's a value 3 there. He's going to send him here into this unoccupied character tower, and he is going to recruit Abbess. She costs 3. He starts with 6, so he's still got 3 left. And the immediate gains are, well, we'll do this one first. You can do them in any order, by the way. We'll give him a movement on the faith track. There we go. And he now gets to take a card from any tower as if he was placing a worker of value 4. He doesn't have to place anyone. If he picks from an occupied tower, though, the same 3 coin cost applies. So we'll put this down here. And now that character isn't going to do anything else for the rest of the game, although she had quite a nice power. But at the end of the game, based on the number of character cards you've got, you can get quite a big bonus if Marty goes for characters in a big way. So now his last remaining immediate effect is to grab another card, and he has a value 4 to take something. Well, you can boost that with servants and cards like normal. So now he has a value 5, and he's going to come right here and grab this chapel. It costs him 3 money because that tower is occupied, and it costs him 2 wood to build this chapel, which is his last 2 wood. You see, Marty's looking quite bare there. He has no money, no wood, no stone, and 1 servant. But he now has 2 buildings. So now, if he goes into the production with some money beforehand, he can trade 1 in for a council favour and another 1 in for a faith movement, which could be really nice. Okay, I think it's time to kick my harvest into action. So I need a value 6 so I can make these cards work. So in this round, the white is 5. I'm going to have to spend a servant to make that 6. And I'm going to go on the harvest space. So let's just work it in order. So I get 1 wood, 1 stone, and a military strength. So military strength, wood, stone. I can get a council favour. I think I'm going to take 2 servants. Okay, next a faith track movement. And we need to be at 3 by the end of round 2 to avoid this punishment, if we want to avoid the punishment. And 1 stone. And over to Marty. He wants to get this in gear, but he needs money because for these, this is very important. For these conversion abilities here, you have to have the resources before you did the production action. So he can't even use this coin that he gains here for the conversions. So with that in mind, he is going to send his value 5 to grab this. It's a bit excessive. He only needed to send a 1 there, but he now gets 5 money, which is great when you have 0. And back to me, my last action. So I have a 3. And I think it's time for a venture. So he's got value 3. I'm going to place him on here in the venture tower. And I have started a military campaign. And the cost for this is I need to at least have a military strength of 3 to be able to take this card. I've got a strength of 3. I lose 2 of it to take the card, so I'm back down to 1. And immediately I get 3 coins. And ventures are explicitly end game points. So that goes off to there. That's my first of 6 ventures. Well, I can have 6. I don't know if I will get 6. But that is me done for the round. So now Marty has a choice. He could activate his harvest things and he'd get 2 military, an extra money, a council favour and a faith if he wanted to pay for those. But he's spending a 6 to do that. It seems to me that it would be nice to spend the 6 elsewhere. The trouble is, I don't think he can really afford to do anything. He can't go in this tower because it's another green worker. He could go here, but he can't afford to build anything because he doesn't have the resources. He could go here. Does he want to grab a territory? Or he could grab a venture, but he can't afford the costs of any of the ventures that are out right now. So really, does he want a territory, or does he want to start producing? I think he'll just start producing. It's a bit excessive, but let's see if it works out for him. So, based on his player board, he gets 2 military and a money. So he's ahead on this track, and that is a majority race. I've just knocked these. I had them lovely and aligned. It is a majority race. At the end of the game, the person who's at the top of this track will get 5 points. Second place will get 2 points. And he already had 5 money, so he's okay to spend on these actions here. So he can spend 2 of it and get 3 back. And he now has a council favour and a faith movement. So let's do the faith movement for him. And for the council favour, he can pick any of these. I think he's going to grab some building materials because he's going into buildings and he doesn't have any resources to actually make them. So that's it for the round. Now, nobody went on this space. This space, any number of people can go there. And every time you go there, you get a council favour and a money. But the order we went there is very important because you can, if you go there first, you can grab first player for next round. As you've seen, it can be expensive if somebody has already gone in the tower you wanted to go into. So first player can be a really big deal. In this case, though, nobody went there. So turn order stays the same. We grab our workers back and all of the cards that we didn't take get discarded and 4 new ones come out. Okay, so this is what has come out for round 2. And they're always the same cards. There are some promo cards actually available that I haven't got myself, but in the base game, there are 8 cards for each colour for each era. So the same ones are going to come out, but they're going to come out in a different order that can really affect the game. So as first player, I need to roll these dice again. And I love these dice, by the way. I wish all dice were this big. So we have a value 1, which isn't great. So what do I want to do? I can't keep going for territories yet because I don't have the military to do it. And I'm actually only on 1 military. What out here could get me military right now? Grabbing this venture up here. But I am quite close to this. Maybe I should get this done while I'm thinking about it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 money, so that's done. I've got 5 wood, 4 stone, and 3 servants. So if I can get 2 servants from there. So I think first thing I'm going to do is send my 1 worker out, and I'm going to grab 5 servants, which could be a bad move. I've left all of the towers open for Marty. But I have seen something that Marty would quite like. He's going to go big, and he's going to use his 6 to come over here and grab this person. And he just happens to have 4 money exactly to be able to do it. He is going to recruit the stonemason there. Costs 4, and he gets a stone for going in that action space. So now, in the future, whenever he goes into the tower to grab a building, he can treat his dice as if it was 2 higher, and he can have a discount on either a stone or a wood. And that is going to work out quite nicely for someone who really wants to go for buildings. Okay, and now I am going to send my value 4 to harvest. So I need to add 2 servants to that. So I've still got 6 there. I'm doing this just so I can get that card out and ready now. So I grab 1 wood, which brings me up to 6. A stone, so I'm at 5 there. A military strength. I can grab a favour, and I think I would like a movement on the faith track, because this, at the end of this round, we're going to get measured on this. So this punishment, by the way, is your coloured workers here are treated as if they have, it's treated as if these dice were 1 lower for the rest of the game, and I don't want that. Marty doesn't want that punishment either. So I took a faith movement for that. Now for this, I will get another, so I'm safe now at 3, and I can get a stone, which puts me at 6, and this is an anytime action. You can reveal that you have fulfilled one of your leader cards. So Sisto the 4th he is satisfied. He wanted me to have 6 stone, wood, workers, and coins. I've done that. So whenever I satisfy the church now, I'm going to get 5 points. So Marty is on a mission. He's going to send this orange, so that's a value 4, and he is going to grab this building here, the mint. And that costs, he can send a 4 there because he gets +2 to the dice, which means he gets a military strength for going on that space. And it costs 1 wood, 3 stone. He only has 1 wood, 2 stone, but he gets a discount on one of those of his choice. He's going to take the discount on the stone, and he can afford the mint. And the mint is very nice because it gets him 5 points right now, so he is on 6. And if he can do the production with a value 5 or more, he's going to get a coin for every building he has, which is already 3, so that could work out quite nicely. As for me, I'm now free to kind of start spending some of this stuff. I am going to use my white dice, so that's a value 6 with a servant, so 7, and I'm going to place very high up here in the characters. So I need to spend 3 because there's someone in that tower. And I am recruiting a warlord. Cost me an extra 2, so my money's slipping away now. But I have my first character, and he's going to give me 3 movement on the military track right now. So I have 5 altogether now, which is great because I can now take another territory. And whenever I do take a territory, my dice is treated as 2 higher. So over to Marty, and he has no money again, so he's a little limited. He would love to do the production here, but to earn the money, he's going to have to put a 5 down there, and there aren't any high guys left. Okay, Marty's going to come down here, and he is going to grab 5 money again. So he's back in the money. And over to me, I am going to place my neutral worker and grab a territory over here. Now, that worker has a value of 2 because of my warlord, so I'm going to have to spend a servant to make that a 3. And my next territory is a forest. And thanks to that forest, I'm going to get a wood right now. And when I do the harvest in the future, I'm going to get 3 more. You see, the harvest and production is quite restrictive in a 2-player game. There is only one space that can only take 1 worker. In a 3 or more player game, there is this space, which makes your dice 3 worse, but it means that you've always got access to some kind of production or harvest. In the 2-player game, though, it's very tight. So finally, for Marty, he is going to produce. He's going to have to spend his last servant to do that. He gets 2 military, and he gets a coin. And since he had 5 to begin with, he can spend a coin and get a council favour, which is going to be a faith track movement. So he's reached that point as well. Unfortunately, it's the only one he could activate, but at least he's done something. Okay, it's the end of the round. Nobody went on the turn order thing again. But now we have the Vatican report, and there are 3 ways this can go. The first way is you didn't reach enough on the track in the round. So anything less than 3 here, you would have no choice. You would have to take one of your excommunication cubes because you've angered the Vatican, and you would put it on here. And for the rest of the game, we would have to treat our coloured workers as if the die were 1 less. The next situation is you reached the right value, but you don't want to spend the points. You don't want to spend the faith trap points. So the same thing happens. You put your cube on here, you're going to take that punishment for the rest of the game, but your marker stays where it is. The final case is, and this is what I think both of us are going to do, you can give up all of your movement on the faith track. You get however many points are above the space there, but you don't take the punishment. Now, it could be a viable strategy, and I say could be, it's worked in one of our games. You can just kind of put up with these 2 punishments here, go all the way up this track, and if you can get all the way up there, you can get 30 points at the end of the game, which is a huge chunk of points. So it'll come to me. I do not want that punishment. I'm going to get 3 points right now. 1, 2, 3. But because I satisfied the church, and this is another reason, I get 5 extra points. So I get 8 points for doing that. Now Marty, I don't think he wants... No, he doesn't want to put up with that. He's not going to go for the faith track. He gets 1, 2, 3. So he's still in the lead there with 9. And neither of us take the punishment. And in 2 more rounds, we will be faced with that. And the punishment for that is you skip your first placement in a round. So no matter what position you are in turn order, your first turn is skipped. So you're going to get an extra turn at the very, very end. But as I said, choice in this is very restricted based on having to pay extra for the towers and things. So having to skip your first turn and let everybody go before you can be a really bad thing. So I'm just going to grab the workers back and reset these cards. Okay, and these are the cards that we've got available for round 3. And I think I'm going to leave it there for part 1. You've seen a whole era of the game, and basically, I think I've shown you a lot of what's in the game now. Basically, we're going to repeat that 2 more times, and the cards are going to get progressively better and better. The powers are going to get better. We'll hopefully get more leader cards out and things. If you would like to see some more of the game, then you can click the link on the screen. Or if you'd like to know what I think, then there'll be another link for that. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye.